Looks like we're just about ready. Oh, maybe not. Nope. Here we go. All right. I'm just going to share this out and then we'll get started. Okay, here we are. Now, bear with me 1 second. I need to check one little technical matter. I'll be right back and we'll get started. So we're 51 seconds in, probably start in 1 minute 30. Okay. Here we go. Hello, everybody. If you're joining for the first time, thanks for joining in. This is the big board. This is live streaming. It's gameplay. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be 100% accurate gameplay because I'm going to kind of extemporaneously comment as we go, and we will have a look and see how we do with the gameplay later on. We'll kind of recap any mistakes. But we're playing Battles on the Ice. That's a Tom Russell design. It's the Shield and Sword, or Shields and Swords, version 2 of the system. It's a pretty neat little system, ideally tuned and focused on medieval combat. So, you've got the post-ancients era, I guess you could call it. It's kind of that medieval bash and crash kind of concept, and I think the simple 7 pages of rules does a good job of encapsulating all of the fun and some of the history that are represented in these battles. Tom has a penchant for picking up battles that are somewhat esoteric and perhaps not well known. These are a couple of Livonian battles, the Livonian Order, which is a kind of offshoot of the Teutonic chaps. And we're not going to get into the detail of the background. We're just going to play. You want to look at that, you can look at the stuff on their website. These are print-on-demand games, so they tend to come with a slightly higher price tag. This particular game has 2 battles in it, I should say. And I think they're 30 or 40 bucks or something like that. And most of these typically have some good replay value. This one in particular is looking like I'll get, assuming I do play it multiple times, I'll get 2 or 3, 4 plays out of it, because there's some very different things that can happen here. Hollandspiel Games have really come out of nowhere. 14 titles published in the last 12 months, Tom, maybe 18 months, I'm not sure, but it feels like it's gone very, very quickly. And the caliber of the games is excellent. You can see Anya's Zilakowska's artwork is fabulous. It's worth checking her page out. She's a great graphical designer. And Gonzalo Santa Cruz, who I don't know, did the counter art, I believe, and probably the layout for the rules or something like that. So anyway, let's kind of get into it. Now, the idea here is that we have a couple of things going on mechanically. Oh, let me just say hi. I've got a few people chipping in. Hey, Chuck, what's going on, man? Devin, what's going on? Good to see you guys. Anyone else who has joined and still here, please say hi, just so I know I can put, say hi to people instead of just a blank number. Let's talk about this real quick. So it's turn 3. I've laid out the command chits, which are these chits here. You can fight, move, make a shield wall, do a horsey move, retreat, whatever the case may be. And each side is going to have the opportunity to place a different number of command chits down, which is representing of their command and control capability. And they also may only be allowed to put perhaps commands down for one or the other of the wings in the game, or they might be able to put commands down for both wings, depending on the historical circumstance. So in this particular instance here, since we're fighting on a frozen lake, and there's basically a rabble and the king's men, this battle is trying to represent some unique things here. So there's this surprise track over here where if I keep these fellas in gold out of the battle, every turn I keep them out of the battle, the sliding scale of values of VPs accrued goes up. And there's a VP cap here where once you get to a certain number, then the game's over. So forcing these dudes, the way I look at it, forcing these guys into the battle sooner as the knights, as the Livonians, is important. Let me just make sure I've got those sides right. Yeah, is important because you want to limit the VP point accumulation. The other thing you want to do here is try and whack on as many of these guys as possible because you're pretty much outnumbered almost by 2 to 1 when it comes to infantry. And you've got these kick-ass kind of pseudo-knight dudes. They're veteran and they're heavy infantry types. So you want to beat up the weak guys, accumulate as many points as you can, and activate these guys as soon as possible. So the Novgorod army's goal is to keep these guys inactive as long as possible, it would seem, and engage with these fellas up here, try and give them a bit of a beating and force them into a situation where this army is not able to come, this wing is not able to come and activate these guys. And you do that by attacking them, because then they have to potentially go into a shield wall, which is this chit, to prevent. And if I use the chits here, I can't use them down here, right? So now in turn 3, instead of moving these guys can continue to press the advance, I'm a little worried as the Livonian player, thinking, I better be careful. So I'm going to put a shield wall up, and I actually put the bonus marker down, which gives me another some DRM. We'll work it out in a minute when we have a combat. But I'm advancing, and then these guys are going to advance up and try and tackle these guys. And the reason why I did do the shield wall is because it will negate this bonus. These are A-rated units. See the A? And these dudes are B-rated units, and they go against, you'll see a chart in a minute, and that determines the resolution on the CRT, what column it goes under, or row, as the case might be, since Tom's got it all ass about and got the numbers across the columns and the classes and categories down the rows. Not that I'm bitching, but it just is what it is. All right. So activation time. These guys are going to shield wall with a bonus. They cannot move this turn, so they're done. So this is kind of, this to and fro was quite interesting. I'm going to put the fan on. And so the play is immediately going to move to the Novgorod player, and he's now going to advance. So let's stick the camera up over there somewhere. Hey Kevin and Danny, nice to see you guys. So let's just whack this camera up over here. We'll have a look here. So now, as the shifty and sneaky Novgorod player, I am going to advance, but I'm not going to attack. You'll see I only laid out one chit. I actually could lay out 2 command chits per wing. There is a command and control aspect to this as well. These veteran units count as kind of a linkage between wings. And so as long as I'm within a certain number of hexes, I think it's 5 or something like that, of one of these veteran units, it allows me to stay nominally in control or in command. If I'm not in command, at the end of the next turn, if I'm still not in command, I'm eliminated. So it's pretty clean system. There's no jacking around. So I'm only going to move up 2 hexes. 1, 2, 1, 2, and try and get a little flanking action going here. And then we're going to press in right to here. Now, in fact, I could get adjacent if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. And I'll put this guy here and kind of cover that side flank a little bit. So that's that guy. So we move those dudes, and these dudes over here are going to go into shield wall as well. And that is going to be their function for the turn. So the shield wall stays in place. Let me just double check that. I think it's till the beginning or the end. Is it the end of the next turn? Let me just check. Something tells me it's the beginning of the next turn. Until the beginning of the player's next turn. So that's what the Novigrad chaps have done now, is they've forced these guys. So these guys, we're going to take these off now. It's the end of the turn. It's now turn 4. We're now making these guys make a choice over here. Are you going to go back into that shield wall, or are you going to now come over and try and move these units? Because it's now turn 4, and now these guys have accrued 6 VPs. Interesting, right? So there's some little tension here. This shield wall is going to stay in place until the beginning of their turn, all right? So that's going to impact all these fellas. And in fact, you know what? It's these guys as well. It's all of those guys. So it's kind of a loosey-goosey formation over here. We've been dinking around. Well, we're going to go gangbusters here. We're going to do a move and a bonus move for these guys, and we'll pay the price up in the north there, ostensibly the north, but we're just going to move all these dudes. These guys, it's going to be their turn. It's not the beginning of their turn yet, so that's going to stay. And I think up here we would be smart. I need a move and a combat. Can I do that? I don't have to leave this on here. We just know it's in shield mode, so I believe I can do this. Can I do a move and a combat in the same time? I forget. I think there's a rule that says you can't. I believe you have to. There's a sequence of play here that it runs real simple. Hang on, I'm just looking at these commands. Yeah, you know what? I don't have to actually allocate these right now. I think the way it works is that I'm sorry for confusing you here if you're trying to follow along. I'm just getting distracted by the fan not coming on. We don't have to allocate these commands now, and that's why this is still in a shield wall situation here. So that would make sense. Let me turn the fan on. It just got real hot in here because the air conditioner went off. Okay, so we're gonna move our little chaps over on the right hand side here. Everyone gets basically 3 movement points. So we're gonna do that. 1, 2, 3. I'm still trying to get around here. You can leave these zones of control as long as you don't move into another zone of control. So I get 1, 2, immediately into another zone of control. 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Need these heavy units as well. This guy's going to end up being out of command if I'm not careful. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. All right, so we'll leave him there. Okay, so that was 3 movement points. That uses the bonus movement up, and then we do a secondary movement. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I don't want to get too badly flanked here. 1, 2, 3. 3. All right, that should do it. Okay, that's the end of their turn. Now we're going to do command for the other chaps, for these guys, and I think I'm going to switch to a move marker for these fellas here, and I don't have another move. Oh, yes, I do. Let's see. And now I will move up here as well. And we're only going to issue one command for each of these guys. So I will advance here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 1. And we're just going to jam these guys into contact. And then we'll go through a combat routine. Probably in the next turn when we allocate a command chit for such. All right, so that's that move, and then these guys are going to try and get their heinies back out of the way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. Some of these better units down here into the fray. 1, 2, 3. And we've been kind of caught flat-footed here. If you flip these guys over, you'll see that they're reduced, right? So there's the full strength side, reduced strength side, and you'll see that it goes from a C to a D. I don't know if you can see that, it's a little blurry. C there becomes a D. That's the category, the class or the caliber of the unit that's fighting. All right, let's see. Hey, Patrick. Okay, now, where do we get to? Moved. So these guys moved. These fellas still have the initiative. Now we've rolled into the eight VPs on turn 5 of this game, and really the Livonians are doing a pretty crappy job of everything, basically, is what I would say. So they're going to try, I can't do 2 combats. Oh, let's see. I am going to do a horse and combat move here. Down here, horse and combat, and you'll see how that works in a second. And I'll pop shield up top. Oh, I can't, that's right, because I can only allocate 2, and I can only do it to 1 wing. So those guys are just going to have to tough it out up here, and these guys here are going to, oh wait, yes, we're going to do the horse move. Horse move comes before combat, and I'll show you this here. So there's a little sequence of play right there. You allocate the commands, you have a fire phase. There's no real fire yet until those archers come into play, those horse archers. Then there's the horse movement and combat phase, withdraw, shield, move phase, second move phase, combat phase, second combat phase. Horse units that end up adjacent, I believe, do get to fight. And I'm just going to double check that. I haven't touched this for a while, so I probably should have reread the rules before we got serious about streaming live. That would be what some expert blogger would do. Ezok, yes. Yes, they may attack enemy units. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to do the horse movement phase. We're going to do that. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You know what? Just trying to keep going around. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. I don't want to fight that B-rated unit. 1, 2, 3. We'll try and knock these guys out here. We'll keep bringing this king around. There's a leader. 1, 2, 3. It's the leader of the order. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let's see. So we're going to have basically 3 combats here at the end of the horse phase. And what I'm hoping here is that we'll get to advance after combat, and then we'll have a second combat. So I'm going to roll a die, and then we'll work out what the result is. I'll explain it to you in a second. So for the first one, I roll a 2. That's going to be awesome. Let's go to the little table, and I'll explain it all to you. I'm going to look at the chart here, and I'm going to see it's a light horse unit attacking a levy, I think, right? Yep, it's a levy. So he gets a -1 DRM. And there's really no other DRMs that we need to worry about. And we're going to go then to the CRT, and we're going to look at the rating of the unit that's attacking, and it's a B. And there's no adjustments up or down on this rating here. Sometimes there are. Sometimes if you have, for instance, multiple, it's a pitched battle, or there's a shield wall, or whatever the case may be, that may move you up or down. So I rolled a 2, so I'm going to go across to the 2, and I'm going to look at the B here, and it says defender retreat. So I'm going to push that guy back 1, and he's going to advance to there. And now this chap is going to have a little combat action, and he's going to roll a die, and it's going to fall off the table. And again, come on, and it's a 5 this time. So a 5 on the B is not good. That's an exchange, but it's with a levy. What's that going to do if I'm fighting a levy? Hang on, let's make sure we got the right HH. Fighting a levy is a -1 as well. So that makes it a 4. No effect. Okay. One more combat here. Not a good roll. It's a 7. And I got a B versus a C. Okay, so it's on the B column. I rolled a 7. But it's -1. It's going to make an exchange. Light horse can retreat instead of taking a loss. So they'll do that. And these guys take a loss. 1 step, and exchanges 1 step each. So now it's combat phase. And we'll do the first combat. And I'm going to attack this guy. And we'll roll a die. He rolls a 6. I'm going to get a -1 on that. It's going to make it a 5. And we're still fighting on the B column. Once again, it's an exchange. These guys take a loss, and these guys retreat. This dude will attack that dude. Heavy horse. Rolls a 5. He's going to get a -1 on that because he's fighting a levy. So it makes it a 4. With a rated unit is going to be defender retreat. So he's going to retreat. And I'm not going to advance after that combat there, because I want to keep these guys free to keep moving around. Okay, so there's that. So that's their action. Now it's the green guy's turn. They're gonna put 2 commands on this dude up here, and it's hard to say what the scale is. Let me see if it actually says it in this particular. It's a variable scale depending on the battle. It doesn't really get into it. You could probably assume it's 50 meters maybe. I'm looking here. No, it doesn't say. You got to keep in mind, like as I said at the outset, this is a little bit abstracted, so it's fairly light, and as you can see, it's very, very fast playing. So it has that going for it, which is nice. I'm going to do a move here, down here. I'm only going to issue 1 command up there and 1 down here. I don't need to issue 2. So let's move first. I'm still trying to protect these guys so that we don't have that activation yet. And in fact, I'll now get to 10 VPs on this now, because the track will adjust. We'll have a look in a sec. 1, 2, 3. But let's keep going. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think he's got to stay there. And 1, 2, 3. It's really hard for the Livonians to do much here. Historically they took an ass kicking. 1, 2, 3. I don't know if you can go through units or not, but we're going to assume you can't. I forget. All right, so I think we're going to keep these guys pretty safe. I'm going to leave these guys here for the moment. Now let's do this combat up here with this second wing up here. Let's crank through this little bad boy. All right. Let's see. So we'll start over here. I've got a B-rated unit attacking a B-rated unit, so there'll be no adjustments, but I've got 2 additional units fighting with me. That's going to give me a -1 on the die roll. We roll a 5. That's going to make it a 4. I'm doing a... Let's see. What is that? Infantry versus infantry, basically. Oh, it's going to be a +1. So it's going to be an exchange. Infantry versus infantry is a +1. I did not know that. That sucks. Okay. And. Is there any other? There's another modifier for 2 guys supporting the attack. Is that going to shift it up 1 or down 1? Even if it does shift it up 1, it's still going to be an exchange, I think. So that guy, they both take a step loss there. And then we do this next combat, which is just straight up B versus B. I roll a 1 this time. A 1 is going to be a DL, defend DL. What's DL again? Oh, both defender takes a step loss. And the next guy is A versus B. 5. We look at the A column, or the A row, I should say, and we go across to the 5. And that's going to be veteran versus light. It's going to be a -1, so it's still a defender retreat. And we'll actually push in there and advance after combat. Then we're going to go A versus B. I roll a 4 that time. That's going to be a -1, makes it a 3. That's a defender retreat, so he'll now have to retreat that way. And next attack is A versus B as well. That's another 4, which becomes a 3. And that's another defender retreat. So you can see we're breaking up this line here a little bit, and here I'll advance after combat. And now A versus B, a 7, not quite as good. That's an exchange, so he'll take a loss, and he will take a loss. Good job, guys. All right, so now, so that's the end of that turn, end of turn 6. Did I say turn 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, end of turn 6. So this is not a turn track, but you move it each turn and accrue these VPs. So now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 8 VPs. It now goes up to 10 VPs. Start at turn 7. So that gives you a very quick look at how the game works. It's interesting having these units stuck here. And it kind of forces you to try some funky things that perhaps wouldn't normally be done. And now we've got 2 wings separated, which is problematic. But we'll see what happens from here. I'm going to let you guys go from here. I just want to give you a quick little fun look at this game. And I think you can see how quickly and easily it plays. And I'll look forward to catching up with you soon. So thanks for tuning in.